friends. Good evening, good evening. It is so great to see you again, and I am so excited that you could join me tonight for another cozy evening, opening up some Pokemon trading cards. For tonight's video, I will be attempting something that I have never done before, which is opening up an entire box of Perfect Order in one sitting. These booster boxes come with a whopping 36 packs of Pokemon cards for us to open, and normally I split them up into multiple parts because if you are a returning viewer, you will know that I like to take my time with each Pokemon card as we go through them. But I thought it would be a fun challenge to unbox the entire booster box in one sitting, so we will see how that works out. I am very close to getting a master set already, but there are a couple of final cards that I do need, and I am hoping we will find them today, specifically that golden Zygarde. So, without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, the booster box features some of the pack art on the side. We have the Mega Clefable here, our lovely Mega Starmie, my personal favorite, and the Mega Zygarde up here. Let's kick off the evening with this Mega Zygarde pack. Here is your first QR code of the night. Always have to do our energy drink to the front, and some dabbies for good luck. Alright, we begin the night with a metal energy. First up is one of my favorites, the Clefairy. I love the art on this card because it looks like she is just bouncing up towards the moon to do the lovely Clefairy moon dance. These little sparkles are such a nice touch. Next up, we have the mighty Walucha, who is striking a pose on top of a giant boulder. The way that they have the white clouds behind him make it feel like he just swooshed right in our fluffy poodle friend, a who looks like she is awaiting her owner outside of a lovely little cafe in Lumiose City. We have another beautiful classic, the 𝓔𝓺𝓻. 𝓔𝓺𝓻 is the evolution of Snivy, and I just adore this little cavern that she is basking in. It looks like there's some nice foliage behind her, and she's standing in this very peaceful, calm lake with the sunbeams shining down from above. We have an item card up next, the Energy Swatter. It looks like a little plastic fly swatter with the colorless energy symbol on it. That's fun. I love the detail on this card. We have the 𝓔𝓺𝓻. This card was designed by the illustrator Mori Yu, and I just love all the super detailed line work that they have done. Just so many things to look at for your eye to move around in the background. Beautiful lavenders and pinks. Very cool. Soaring in from the skies, we have an 𝓔𝓚. I still actually want to build and try out this deck because I got the 𝓔𝓚 deck in my build-in battle for this set, and it was a lot of fun, but I haven't actually tried it in regular standard format. For our first reverse hollow, we have one of the new special energies, the psychic telepathic energy. This energy is neat and especially good for psychic decks because if you attach it to a psychic Pokemon, then you get to search your deck for up to 2 basic psychic Pokemon to add to your bench. For our next reverse hollow, we have the lovely Shaman. Still rocking the green mohawk. I love the beautiful foliage around her and the way the artist put the leaves in the foreground, so it gives a little bit more depth to the image. Very cool. And for our first rare of the evening, we have one of my favorites, the Auroras. Auroras is the evolution of Amora and is such a lovely dinosaur Pokemon. You evolve them from the sail fossil, I want to say, actually. And I just love the art. It just looks so magnificent with the little snowflakes falling in the foreground and the nice sunset behind it. Very cool. Since we have so many packs to go through, I probably will not be showing all the sleeving on screen, just the main hits that I'll be displaying up here. So we'll put our special energy over by our club table. Well, that was a nice start. Let's see if our Mega Starmie is hiding any fun friends for us. so far have been from Mega Starmie packs. Here is your next QR code of the evening. Our energy to the front, and we begin this pack with an electrifying, lightning energy. And we start off with another lovely 𝓔𝓵𝓻. The moonlight that it stores in the wings on its back apparently give it the ability to float in mid-air. We have the classic ghost Pokemon, 𝓔𝓵𝓼𝓸𝓻, up next. He is seen here floating around at twilight in the little mausoleum zone. It looks like. Can't remember exactly which number that was in CA. We have another item card, the Crushing Hammer. Crush, crush, crush. I love the little detail that they did on this, where you have the energy symbols kind of engraved into the metal in the center of the hammer. Very cool. We have a lovely 𝓔𝓵𝓻𝓭 up next. 𝓔𝓵𝓻𝓭 is a fiery lizard, and he's seen here basking on a rock in the middle of an active volcano. Looks like there's a nice lava field going on here and some ashy fog off in the distance. Next up is a new supporter card, 𝓔𝓵𝓻𝓭. She is a character from Legends CA, and she owns the really fancy hotel that does like the Pokemon Club. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. And she does a giant tournament between you and all the other very strong trainers in the city. She's a little pushy though. Next up, we have the lovely Meowstic. Our cat Pokemon, who is lounging out on a giant floofy red beanbag in what looks like a garden outside. I love all the little flower baskets and potted flowers behind her, and you can just make out a little fence around the border. Next up is the 𝓔𝓵𝓐, our ogre scorpion Pokemon. I love that they specify that he's an ogre. He is a very feisty scorpion and is rushing out of his dark cavern behind him on the mountainside. Looks like we have just invaded his home and he is getting ready to protect it. For our first reverse holo of the pack, we have the mighty Hippowdon. Hippowdon. Our giant sandy hippopotamus. I love that they put the little detail of 𝓔𝓺𝓻 standing in the background behind there as the hippodon rushes towards us in the sand. Oh, what a great start! We have one of my favorite Pokemon in full illustration, rare, the Rowlet. Oh, I love this. He's so adorable. This card was illustrated by 𝓵𝓏𝓼𝓸𝓻𝓭 and it's interesting because it has a very flat feel to it, the way that all the colors have no strong outline to them. They all kind of blend together with these lovely vines and the branches and flowers, with our adorable Rowlet in the center, looking just so peaceful and happy to see us. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. The hollow pattern is very subtle, like the diagonal design that they use a lot. And for our rare card slot, we have the spiky, or the special rocky energy. That is another one of the new special energies. This is specifically for fighting Pokemon, and if you attach it to a fighting Pokemon, then any effects of attacks that your opponents use against it do not apply, except for damage, because the damage is not an effect. Very cool. It's nice and sleeved up. allows him to gain one additional attack, the Geobuster, which does a whopping 350 damage. But you have to discard all energy from him after using the attack. If you are using Barbarical as well, though, in the deck, it is very easy to rebuild up his energy. Next up, we have another Hippowdon. Hippowdon. It blasts internally stored sand from the ports on its body to create a towering twister for attacks. You can see right there the sand bursting out of one of those ports. Next up, we have a classic Raticate. I still love that the art on this card looks like the Raticate has just decimated someone's computer server room. He's chewed through all the wires and tubing and is hungry for more. Raticate. For our first reverse holo, we have another lovely 𝓔𝓺𝓻. 𝓔𝓺𝓻's one weakness is its inflated sense of pride. It takes a while for 𝓔𝓺𝓻 to be able to cooperate with other Pokemon. And for our second reverse holo, we have another lovely Meowstic. Females are a bit more selfish and aggressive than the males. If they don't get what they want, they will torment you with their psychic abilities. It's always a little bit more difficult to read the fine text on the reverse holos because it gets so shiny. And there's the 𝓒𝓪𝓻 deck that I was talking about earlier. 𝓒𝓪𝓻 is a fun dinosaur Pokemon. He is seen here stomping his way through the volcanic landscape and is very ready to wreak some havoc. Next up, we have another Mega Starmie pack, which if you have watched my previous videos, you'll know that I pulled the SIR of Mega Starmie, and I love it so much. It just makes me laugh every time I see it. The deck is very fun too. I'm actually building it out to play. So I'm actually hoping that I come across some more just regular Mega Starmie EXs to add to it tonight. Alright. Your next QR code tonight. One energy to the front. And we have another lovely psychic energy. Psychic. Oh, nice. We have a new item, the Pokemon Catcher. It kind of looks like a laser gun that has like a satellite dish on the head and is shooting out some rays of light to switch in the Pokemon. I also just love that it's kind of like soaring through this giant like tech tunnel. We have another lovely Ghastly up next, floating through the twilight. Its gases. Anyone would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. We have another adorable favorite of mine up next, the Esper. Esper. I just always love the wide-eyed expression that Espers have. This one here is featured in the middle of a lovely grassy field, and there's a nice blue sky behind her on a lovely afternoon day. We have another 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 up next, basking in the heat from the volcano. Only female 𝓔𝓺𝓻 can produce gas laden with pheromones. Males entranced by this gas will do whatever the females tell them. We have another core memory tool. It's good. I might actually build out the Mega 𝓔𝓺𝓻 deck as well. It was kind of hit or miss whether it was viable, but when it does work, it is so much fun. I'll go over the attacks if we pull a Mega 𝓔𝓺𝓻. And next we have the beautiful 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. This card was illustrated by one of my favorite Pokemon card illustrators, 𝓔𝓺𝓾𝓲𝓵. I just love the detailed line work that they always do. There's just so intricate, and there's all these little tiny beautiful lines from the branches and the flames flying around. So interesting. Love it. We have another lovely Meowstic next. We will probably be seeing a lot of duplicate cards in this opening because this set only features 90 basic cards and a handful of secret rares. So I will try to go over as much information as I can about them. This Meowstic features 2 attacks, Perplex and Psychic. Perplex causes the opponent's Pokemon to become confused, and Psychic does 30 damage plus an additional 30 for each energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. Interesting. That could be fun. For our first reverse holo of the pack, we have the supporter 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭. I just love how they added the little details of all the tiny canary dolls back there behind him and on the computer. It's so fun. He is very useful in fighting decks. And our next reverse holo features the Gastly. Gastly has 1 attack, surprise attack, that does 30 damage, but you have to flip a coin, and if you get tails, then it does nothing. And up we have our first EX of the night, Yveltal. Yveltal actually has a really interesting attack called Soul Destroyer, which will knock out each of your opponent's Pokemon that have 50 HP or less actually one of the SIRs that I really want to get as well, that I'm missing. Your next QR code. This pack features a dark energy up front. Oh, we have a lovely Rattata up first, sitting on a little rock in what appears to be kind of like a little grassy, maybe lakeside, I would imagine. I love how he is trying to look very confident and intense, but we all know he is just a little Rattata. Next up is the 𝓔𝓚𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼, our sword blade Pokemon, and he is flying towards us, kind of going past us actually, screen right. It's a very interesting angle that the artist used. We have another lovely Spinarak, our spider buddy. It spins a web using fine yet durable thread. Then it waits patiently for prey to be trapped. We have the Nosepass Pokemon up next. Nosepass. We've actually pulled 2 of the evolution forms, illustration rares of Purple Pass. I always found this Pokemon to be kind of silly. He is basically a giant rock in the shape of a nose. We have another supporter, 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭. He is very handy in fighting decks because he allows you to put up to 4 of any combination of fighting Pokemon and basic fighting energy from your discard pile back into your hand. Next up is another feisty Drapion. Its poison is potent, but it rarely sees use. This Pokemon prefers to use physical force instead, going on rampages with its car-crushing strength. Next up, we have the Barbaracle that I had mentioned earlier. He is actually one of the decks that I got in my build-in battles. Actually, got him twice. I did 3 build-in battles, I want to say. The Imperial Release format, that deck was not so strong, but in Standard, he is actually very handy because of his Stone Arms ability, which lets you, once per turn, attach a basic fighting energy from your hand to any one of your fighting Pokemon. And if you have multiples of him on the bench, you can do it multiple times a turn, which definitely helps rebuild out energy. We have the Stadium card up next, Lumiose City, in reverse hollow form. We have the illustration rare as well that I pulled, and it's such a pretty card. But this one's cool too. I love how they have the Prism Tower in the center in the back there, and some entertainment playing on the giant screen on that building. It's very fun. For sexier to me than Nosepass because he now features a very bushy mustache. I do like how the artist illustrated his kind of magnetic power, though, with that very light blue energy behind his arms. And for our rare card, we have the grass version of the special energy. This one is cool because any grass Pokemon you attach it to gain an additional 20 HP. Nice and secure. Moving on to another Mega Clefable pack. Our next QR code. And this pack begins with another yellow lightning energy. We have another adorable Rattata up first. Rattata. Its incisors grow continuously throughout its life. If its incisors get too long, the Pokemon becomes unable to eat and it starves to death. I always find it funny when the Pokedex descriptions are really dark because you remember it's a game technically for kids, even though a lot of adults like me play it. Next up is the Antique Sale Fossil Item Card. I love that they placed it in like a very snowy landscape to represent the icy Amora that it falls into. And next up, we have the regular version of the adorable Rowlet. He is seen here lounging out on a branch in between two trees at dusk. You can see, like, very far off in the distance, there's a little bridge down there and the lights of the city. I love it. We have another Honedge up next. Honedge. Apparently, Honedge was born when a departed spirit began inhibiting an ancient sword. It attaches itself to people and drinks their life force. Oh no. We have a new item card, the Lumiose Galette. Galette. It's interesting to me because, like, this looks more like a really fluffy souffle pancake or even like one of those wobbly Japanese cheesecakes. They're really yummy if you haven't had a chance to try them. Because I've made a galette before and it's kind of more of like you have the pastry and it's folded over onto itself, kind of what they're trying to represent. But it's usually filled with yummy things like cherries or blueberries. They're very tasty. We have an intense looking 𝓔𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮 up next. This card was designed by another one of my favorite illustrators, Akira Igawa. And you can tell there's colors and thin lines that they use. Their cityscapes on their cars are so gorgeous. I believe they were the ones who did the 𝓔𝓵𝓾𝓲𝓵 EX SAR and the Mega Latias, I want to say. It's beautiful. Oh, yay. We have our first Pokepad item of the evening. Pokepad. This is a new item that was introduced recently and is basically essential for all decks now because it allows you to search your deck for any Pokemon that doesn't have a rule box to add to your hand. And outside of a couple, like a handful of other items like Ultra Balls or like Team Rocket's Great Ball and things like that, there are very few searchable Pokemon cards right now in item form. So everyone is needing lots of Pokepads. For our first reverse holo, we have another Raticate. People say that it fled from its enemies by using its small webbed hind feet, I can read, I swear, to swim from island to island in Alola. For our next reverse holo, we have the evolved form of the rabbit, Dartrix. This Dartrix looks like he's just climbed down a little staircase and is overlooking a nice, I'm not sure if it's a little fountain in the city or the entranceway to some of the like watery paths they had around in the game. And awesome! We have our first ultra rare of the night, and it is the lovely Meowth EX. Yes. I love the ultra rare design that they did for this, where it has kind of the coin on his head shape mimicked all over the background. It's very fun. The Meowth EX is also a new essential card for a lot of decks because of his last ditch catch ability. Basically, the way it works is when you play the Meowth, you have the option to search your deck for any supporter to add to your hand, which is extremely handy. Very happy about this pull. Hang out with the Meowth up there. I had to turn him sideways because in one of my previous videos, when he was facing forward, my autofocus on my camera just kept trying to focus on the Meowth instead of my cards. Alright, I think I picked from the right last time, so let's pull one from over here. Next up, we have a pack featuring the Mega Zygarde over here. I was really hoping that I could get one of the build your own model kit figures of him for my videos, but they unfortunately have not released any official ones yet, so I'm kind of surprised. Here's your next QR code of the box. And Esper up next. Esper. It keeps its intense psychic power from leaking out by using its ears to cover the organs emitting that power. Next up, we have another Probopass. Probopass radiates such a powerful magnetic field that nearby electrical appliances are rendered useless while it's around. We have the Lumiose City Stadium card. This card is interesting, but I feel like it is not going to be used that much because the way it works is once during each player's turn, they can search their deck for a basic Pokemon to add to their bench. And if you search for the Pokemon this way, it ends their turn. So the fact that you don't get to attack is kind of lame. We have another lovely Aromatisse. Its scent is so overpowering that unless they happen to really enjoy the smell, trainers will have a hard time walking alongside it. And we have another beautiful Talonflame up next. The Talonflame features an ability called Sky Hunt, which lets you once per turn flip a coin, and if you get heads, you can discard a random card from your opponent's hand. Very fun. Oh, nice. For our first reverse holo, we got the Gengar. Very nice. Always good to get a Gengar card. Oh, I love the art on this. I haven't actually seen this card yet because I haven't pulled it. The Gengar is surrounded by some very chaotic psychic energy as he rushes towards us in a bedroom. I wonder if he's like about to use Dream Eater. You can see like it looks like he came in through the open window right there, and there's a little bed. Very cool. For our next reverse holo, we have another antique sale fossil. These item cards are very interesting because if you want to play the Pokemon that they evolve into, you have to play this first, but they don't count as a Pokemon, so you are not allowed to just play it during setup, which makes it a little bit more difficult. Oh, nice. And we have our first Mega of the night, Mega Skarmory. Very fun. The Mega Skarmory EX features an attack called Sonic Ripper, which reads, shuffle all energy attached to this Pokemon into your deck, and this attack does 220 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. I could definitely see this being used in combination with the Stevens Metacross because his ability is once per turn you can look through your deck for I think any combination of psychic and metal energy to attach to one of your punched Pokemon. So for using his attack and then just cycling it back in, and he has no retreat cost, you could just pull him back the next turn and build it up again. Very cool. Mega Skarmory over here in our EX pile. And I can't remember if I took from the left or the right last time. I'm gonna say I took from the left. course, its body regulates its temperature so it can live in any region or climate. That's handy. Cool. To go with the Gengar that we just found, we have its pre-stage, the Hunter. I love the art in this card because it's just like such an interesting way that the artist colored the snow. Due to it being sunset, they used a lot of like pink and yellow hues, which you wouldn't necessarily expect in a cold and icy landscape, but it works very well. Next up is the Probopass. The Probopass features 2 attacks, Rolling Rocks for 60 damage and Obliterating Nose for 260. But to use it, you have to discard 3 energy from him. We have another lovely Tarragon supporter trainer. And another Drapion. I want to say this is our 3rd or 4th Drapion now. I feel like we haven't actually gotten any of the Scorpuri, which is, I always find it funny when I get a bunch of the uncommon cards, but none of the common basics. The Drapion features 2 attacks, Rock Down for 60 and Hazardous Tail for 100. But to use Hazardous Tail, it also does 70 damage to himself, and your opponent's active Pokemon becomes paralyzed and poisoned. So I'd say that's a fairly good deal. We have another lovely Barbaracle up next. Barbaracle's legs and hands have minds of their own, and they will move independently, but they usually follow the head's orders. Usually. Oh, I don't think I've actually pulled any of this card yet either. We have the adorable 𝓔𝓚𝓭 for our first reverse holo, which is funny because it is a common card. The 𝓔𝓚𝓭 is seen here wandering through the Lumiose sewers. It looks like there was a mission where you had like a locked gate and you had to find the right key to go with it. It looks like that is what this is referring to. And we have a cute little Bunnelby for our second reverse holo. This Bunnelby is a little common bunny type Pokemon. He is seen here wandering the city and looking for some friends to play with. And for our rare of this pack, we have Luxray, who is the evolved form of Luxio, our little electric lion dog. Luxray's ability to see through objects comes in handy when it's scouting for danger. Alright. Next up, we have another pack is that 𝓔𝓪𝓻 that I've been looking for. I think this might actually be the first of all the perfect order that I've opened of him, which is pretty funny. There's always one comment that I just can't get my hands on. The 𝓔𝓪𝓻, is it 𝓔𝓪𝓻 or 𝓔𝓪𝓻? Let me know in the comments how you pronounce it. Is wandering through a very sandy desert. I love the little footprints that he's leaving behind him. Very cute. We have a classic card, the Pokeball. Can't have Pokemon without a Pokeball. However, I feel like it's not as useful as some of the other item search Pokemon cards because you have to flip a coin to use it, and only if you get heads can you search your deck for a Pokemon. It is cool though that it doesn't specify basic, so that means you could literally search for any Pokemon. So maybe it is worth the coin flip. Oh, we have one of my favorites, the Snivy, up next. Snivy is seen here wandering on top of a log in the forest. I love the little mushrooms growing outside of the log there and the nice pink lush foliage around him. Oh, we have an adorable little Shinx up next. Oh, she looks so happy, I love it. The Shinx is bouncing through the city, and I love how this illustrator kind of made it have a very kid-like wonder cartoon feel to it, especially with the little stars underneath him as he hops. That is adorable. We have another supporter card of Naveen, which I apologize that in a previous video I referred to him as she, because turns out I actually played my entire Legends CA playthrough thinking that he was a girl. Just thought he was just very tomboy-like, but I was incorrect about that. We have a 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 up next. Fiery 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭. He looks very intense, and there's a ton of very lush energy surrounding him and whooshing around. Looks like a very windy battle. We have a reprint supporter card that is actually very handy in standard format right now. Judge. It is useful because it is one of the few hand disruption cards that are currently available, and he forces both players to shuffle their hands into their deck and redraw 4 cards. For our first reverse holo, we have another adorable fledgling. Despite the beauty of its lifting voice, it's merciless to intruders that enter its territory. For our next reverse holo, we have the lovely Salandit. Salandit features only one attack, Fire Claws, for 20 damage. And we have another EX Pokemon, the 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 EX. Very nice. The 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 EX is the evolved form of the Dartrix, and he actually features a really cool ability called Sniper colorless energy costs in attacks used by this Pokemon. And his attack costs 3 colorless, so that means it would only cost 1 grass instead. And it does 240 damage and lets you discard an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. I haven't gotten to try this out yet, but I saw in a Reddit post actually, if you are going to try it, in some of the play formats on live, it doesn't, its ability is broken right now. So if it's bugged, that's why. So do I. Over here in my EX zone. Alright. Thinking of maybe close the time to move our Meowth buddy. Let's see. Maybe I can get him to stand. Okay, that works better too. From here, I have plenty of card packs to go through. Next up, we have another Meowth pack. That's right. Alright. Here's your next QR code. Our energy to the front. And we have our first fire energy, I believe, of the night. Fire. It's actually getting quite warm in my room right now because I turn off the AC when I'm filming. First up in this pack, we have a nose pass. Nose pass. When endangered, it may protect itself by increasing its magnetism and drawing in nearby iron objects to its body. We have the item card, the hole digging shovel. It kind of looks like a little plastic toy shovel. I love that it is specifically for digging holes and nothing else. We have another lovely Snivy up next. It prefers to avoid groups. In its day-to-day life, it dexterously controls its vines to compensate for its short arms. Oh, he's like a T-Rex. We have our first seal of the night. Our lovely sea lion Pokemon. He is seen here having a lovely day at the beach. Looks like it's some nice refreshing water and the waves behind him. And we have another lovely shaman. It can dissolve toxins in the air to instantly transform ruined lands into a lush field of flowers. Turtonator. The Turtonator features an ability, Shell Spikes, that reads, if this Pokemon is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, even if he is knocked out, then you discard an energy from the attacking Pokemon. Oh, that's fun. He's also a basic with 120 HP, so that's pretty handy. We have another Judge. I love that has no name. He is just Judge. For our first reverse hollow, we have another Lumiose Colette. The Lumiose Colette allows you to heal 20 damage and remove a special condition from your active Pokemon. And we have another Energy Swatter. Got a little sneak peek there. Looks like we have another mecha behind this. The Energy Swatter makes your opponent reveal their hand, and you get to choose an energy card that you find there to put to their bottom of their deck. That's very fun. Some of the cards I think are really interesting, but you're limited to only 60 cards a deck, and it's always very hard to find space to fill in for some fun extras like this. And, oh, nice, we have a Mega Zygarde. Fun. I'm excited because I might build one of these decks in person too, because I actually have a lot of fun with it. So the Mega Zygarde has two really cool attacks. The first only costs 3 energy, and it's called Gaia Wave. It does a whopping 200 damage and causes all attacks that he takes next turn to do 30 less damage to him, which is very handy. And the attack that is so much fun, if you can make it work, is Nullifying 0. It costs a whopping 5 fighting energy, but you get to flip a coin for each of your opponent's Pokemon, and if you get heads, it will do 150 damage to it. This is so much fun when it works. I think I knocked out like 4 Pokemon in one turn with it, and it was very satisfying. Mega Zygarde EX. And not to mention, he has that Pokemon tool, the Memory Core, that allows him to gain that additional Geobuster attack as well for the 350 damage. Now he'll go here. Alright, looks like we have a choice of 2 Mega Starmie packs for next. Let's see if we get something good hiding inside this Mega Starmie pack. First up, we have another antique cell fossil. The item, antique fossils are always interesting too because they feature an ability where whenever your opponent plays a supporter card from their hand, it prevents all effects of that card done to this Pokemon, or technically item. It's not really a Pokemon, even though it does have 60 HP. We have our first 𝓔𝓺𝓻 up of the night, who is seen here standing in front of the 𝓔𝓵𝓾𝓬𝓮𝓼 tower. I believe that's what it was called in the game. It's where you would go and find and buy all your Mega Stones. Very cute. We have the evolved form of the Spinarak that we've been finding, the Ariados. This Ariados looks like it is leaving its web and is climbing down a nice vine of leaves, trailing down a house, it almost looks like. first 𝓔𝓪𝓻 of the evening, which I'm surprised because we're like 16 packs in. I love the art on this card because the 𝓔𝓪𝓻 is seen here doing a nice little moon dance outside of a lovely ocean area. But you can see all the like little glows of all the other 𝓔𝓪𝓻s and 𝓔𝓪𝓻s hiding inside the water. It's a very cool detail. I love it. Another energy swatter item card. And another Volcanion. It lets out billows of steam and disappears into the dense fog. It's said to live in mountains where humans do not tread. Volcanion. Cool. And I don't think we got one 𝓔𝓭𝓚 at the very beginning. We have another lovely 𝓔𝓭𝓚. This stance is dedicated to offense. It can cleave any opponent with the strength and weight of its steel blade. Oh, nice. We have a reverse holo of the 𝓔𝓵𝓄. Very cool. I actually don't think I've pulled this guy yet either. The hatred of those who perish by the sword long ago has clad itself in snow and become a Pokemon. I love the colors that they used in this. On his like fangs, there's this very cool icy blue, and feels like a very cool snow leopard like Pokemon. Nice. And for our next reverse holo, we have another Barbaracle. He features a singular attack, because you usually keep him on your bench, but if you do need to attack with him, you can do a hammer in for 80 damage. And we have another Aurorus for our rare card. The Aurorus features an ability called Tundra Wall, which reads, all of your Pokemon that have any water energy attached take 50 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Oh, that's really fun. I don't know if it's fully worth the setup of having to get the fossil and then the Amora and then the Aurorus, but could be an interesting play. Onwards. We have another Mega Stymy pack. Next QR code of evening. Apologies for that loud plane flying over our house. And we begin with another wet water energy. First up is the lovely lounging Snorlax. The Snorlax features 2 attacks, 𝓔𝓚𝓚𝓻𝓭 and Collapse. The 𝓔𝓚𝓚𝓻𝓭 lets you flip a coin until you get tails, and you get to search your deck for any amount of basic energy up to the number of heads to attach to him, which is very interesting and necessary if you want to use his Collapse attack that costs 4 energy, does 160 damage, and makes him Its whiskers serve as antennas. By sending and receiving electrical waves, it can communicate with others over vast distances. We have our first spritzy of the evening. Spritzy is the basic form of the aromatizes that we've been finding. She is seen here floating by a lovely little mirror in what looks like a little bathroom parlor area. There's a nice perfume bottle there and some lovely roses on the wallpaper. We have another Ariados. It spins string not only from its rear, but also from its mouth. It's hard to tell which end is which. Oh no! It's an interesting description. We have another Naveen supporter. Naveen lets you draw cards until you have 5 in your hand. Before drawing the cards, you are allowed to discard any number of cards from your hand. So that's actually very interesting. I haven't seen it really be played that often, but it'd be kind of fun to try it out. Next up is another fiery Turtonator, our blast turtle Pokemon. Explosive substances coat the shell on its back. Enemies that dare attack it will be blown away by an immense detonation. We have our fourth, I want to say, judge of the evening. And for our first reverse hollow, we have another adorable seal. The colder it gets, the better it feels. It joyfully swims around oceans so cold that they are filled with floating ice. And for our next reverse hollow, we have the lovely 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. In the fever of an exciting battle, it showers embers from the gaps between its feathers as it flies. And for our rare card, we have the evolved form of the seal, 𝓔𝓺𝓾𝓬𝓬𝓮. The art in this is actually pretty fun because it looks like the dugong has been surfing and is caught in the middle of the wave. They get those photographs where the surfers have the wave overhead on it. It's very cool. He's looking very confident. Alright. Let's keep going. I believe we are definitely more than halfway through. We have another Mega Clefable pack to open next. Starting off with a lovely green grass. We have our first Tyrant of the night. We actually haven't seen the jaw fossil either, which is interesting. I love Tyrant because I love our first 𝓔𝓼𝓻 of the night. 𝓔𝓼𝓻 is actually a really, really fun card to play because of his weaponized swords attack. I actually think that he is more powerful than his evolved form, the 𝓔𝓺𝓻. The way it works is when you attack, you can reveal any number of 𝓔𝓚𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼, 𝓔𝓼𝓻, and 𝓔𝓺𝓻 from your hand, and the attack does 60 damage for each of them that you reveal. So it's kind of cool because you can actually hold back as well if you want from your opponent how many you actually have in your hand. We have our first Spewpa of the night. Spewpa. And I've always found the art on this particular card intriguing. It has like a very flat geometric background with the square patches of grass. It almost looks like it's quilted. And I like how like the leaves are also like in the same pattern behind him as well. It's very cool. Kind of mimics the little squares on his body. Next up is another powerful 𝓔𝓚𝓻. The 𝓔𝓚𝓻 features 2 attacks, strength for 50 and powerful steam, where you flip a coin for each water energy that is attached to him, and it does 90 damage for each heads that you get. That's pretty fun. We have another lovely shaman. She features 2 attacks as well. Send flowers and leaf step. The leaf step does 30 damage, and the sunflowers lets you search your deck for an energy card and attach it to one of your benched grass Pokemon. Very cool. We have another fluffy looking Lumiose Galette. For our first reverse hollow, we have a Fletchinder. The hotter the flame sac in its belly, the faster it can fly, but it takes some time to get the fire going. And for our next reverse hollow, we have the lovely Amora. This ancient Pokemon was restored from a part of its body that had been frozen in ice for over 1,000,000 years. Oh, we have an ultra rare, and it's Yveltal. Very nice. Oh, this is a fun one. I love the contrast that they got with the dark blacks and the reds. It's very chaotic looking. Oh, that's really cool. I love this one. I love the variety of the pulls we've been getting tonight. Yveltal EX. Well, he is definitely going up into our hit zone. Nice and sleeved. He actually has very nice centering too. Go and hang out with Meowth EX up there. Oh, this is the thick pack. We're moving on to another Mega Clefairy pack. It's interesting how some of the packs just like feel tighter than the others. But there are no god packs in this set, so it could mean anything. Alright. We have our next skewer. its wings, it controls its position in the air. It likes to attack from above, a maneuver that is difficult to defend against. We have a lovely Shinx up next. Shinx. The extension and contraction of its muscles generates electricity. Its fur glows when it is in trouble. We have another lovely Doublade soaring through the ancient ruins. When 𝓔𝓚𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼 evolves, it divides into two swords that cooperate via telepathy to coordinate attacks and slash their enemies to ribbons. Next up is another adorable 𝓔𝓺𝓾𝓲𝓾𝓲. I love his expression on his face because he just looks like he's kind of gotten lost and is kind of wanting to ask you for directions but is a little shy about it. After burrowing into the sand, it waits patiently for prey to come near. This Pokemon and Sizzlipede share common descent. Next up is another lovely Aromatisse. She features an ability called Scent Collection, where once during your turn, you can search your deck for up to 2 basic psychic energy cards and put them into your hand. That's pretty cool. We have another lovely Jackie supporter card. She allows you to heal 150 damage from one of your psychic Pokemon. It's a very specific card. I feel like we've gotten 4 Barbaricles at this point and no Pinnacles. Where are the Pinnacles? For our first reverse holo, we have the lovely Spinarak. He features one attack, 𝓔𝓺𝓾𝓲𝓚, for 10 damage, and it causes your opponent to not be able to retreat the next turn. Ah, there's the Pinnacle. Just a pair of barnacles that I was talking about. The Pinnacle is seen here, wandering the streets of Lumiose. Looks like he might have taken a pit stop at the Pokemon Center over there. I love their expressions. They look very upset at each other. And for our rare card, we have another growing energy. Green growing energy. That guy nice and secure. Going out with the other special energies over here. I'm curious what the frequency of finding them are in the booster box. Looks like we have the choice of 2 Mega Zygarde packs over here. From the left. Uh-oh, let me out. This is falling over a little bit. That's okay. another lovely 𝓔𝓭𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼. The 𝓔𝓔𝓐𝓬𝓬 in this set features a memory lock attack that does 30 damage, and you get to choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks, and during the next turn, they are not allowed to use it. That's very cool. I can see that being handy. We have our second pinnacle of the evening up next. Two pinnacle live together on one rock. When they fight, one of them will move to a different rock. Oh! We have another 𝓔𝓺𝓻 supporter. And we have our first Diggersby up next. The Diggersby is the evolved form of the Bunnelby. He is seen here looking very proud of himself as he exits a cave that looks like it's kind of built into the side of a mountain there. Interesting. Because he burrowed through it. We have another lovely Barbaracle. And a judge for our first reverse hollow. I feel like the packs from this point on might start getting a little bit faster going through because there's only so much I can say about each card. Alright. For our second reverse hollow, we have the lovely Scatterbuck. The powder that covers its body regulates its temperature, so it can live in any region or climate. I feel like I might have read that one already. And for our rare card of this pack, we have the Landorus. Landorus is a legendary Pokemon, although I feel like he's one of my least favorite of the legendaries, like him in Tornadus. Lands visited by Landorus grant such bountiful crops that it has been hailed as the guardian of the fields. I just feel like they're just not as memorable as some of the other legendary trios. We have another lovely Mega Zygarde pack to open next. Normally what I would recommend if you get a booster box is, instead of binge opening like this at once, if you can handle it, only open 2 packs a day so it lasts a lot longer. I actually did this for holiday season when Surging Sparks had first come out, and it was a lot of fun. We opened 2 packs a day leading up to the holidays. It's great to do with friends or partners. Alright, we have another grass energy to start. And first up, we have another lovely 𝓔𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼. It never lets go of a key that it likes, so people give it the keys to vaults and saves as a way to prevent crime. Interesting. We have a new item card, the Energy Search. Looks like a little digital pad, and it has all the little energies that you can click on to find them. Very cool. We have our next Staryu. you of the night. I like that it's not a starfish Pokemon, it's described as a star-shaped Pokemon. Even as its body is torn, it can regenerate as long as the glowing central core remains intact. Now we're getting all the pinnacles. The pinnacles feature 2 attacks that are actually kind of useful. For 1 energy, you can do double draw and draw 2 cards. And for 2 energy, you can scratch for 30 damage. We have another lovely 𝓔𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼, which it's interesting that he's a water Pokemon instead of fire. It's based on the coloration and his whole demeanor and name. I feel like he should have been a fire Pokemon. I have another shaman peeking out through the bushes. And another lovely 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼. What's your favorite pastry? For our first reverse hollow, we have the Aurorus. Aurorus also features an attack called Freezing Chill, which does 150 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon cannot use any attacks. Oh, that is actually pretty cool. For our next reverse hollow, we have the lovely 𝓔𝓺𝓼𝓻. The 𝓔𝓺𝓼s feature 2 attacks, Follow Me and Flop. Follow Me lets you switch in one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot, and Flop does 30 damage. And for our rare card of this pack, we have another Rocky Energy. Rocky Energy. I wonder how many of the special energies we will get by the time the night is over. Hang out here with the other energies. Moving on to a Meowth pack. I think it's getting close to when Meowth will not stay balanced up there anymore. Alright. Here's your next QR code. Night. And we begin with an electrifying lightning energy. Whoa. We have our first potion item of the night. Spritz, spritz, spritz. I always found it interesting that the items in Pokemon games were kind of like spray on to your Pokemon, which I guess kind of makes sense because it would be hard to feed them potions that you can drink. The potion lets you heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon. We have another adorable 𝓔𝓺𝓼 up next. And Hawlucha. The Hawlucha features an attack called Vengeful Kick that does 30 damage, and if your bench Pokemon have any damage counters on them, then it does an additional 60 more. Very nice. We actually have only gotten one Furfrou, I believe, this night, and this is our second, and that is Scissors. The Scrape Off also makes your opponent have to discard all Pokemon tools from their active Pokemon. And the 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 do 40 damage for each damage counter on all of your benched Rattata. Oh, that's fun. I don't think I've ever seen anyone play that, but that might be kind of a fun, like, niche deck to try out. Just Rattatas Eradicates. Imagine taking out a Mega Pokemon with that. We have another lovely Jackie supporter. Next up is the mighty Hippowdon. Hippowdon features 2 attacks, Twister Spewing and Heavy Impact. The Twister Spewing does 80 damage, and if you played a 𝓔𝓺𝓻 supporter from your hand that turn, then you can discard the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck as well. That's pretty nifty. For our first rare of the pack, we have the 𝓔𝓪𝓻. Always nice to get the reverse hollows of the rares because they're a little bit harder to come by, I feel like, if you're trying the master set. 𝓔𝓪𝓻 features 2 attacks, Rock Tumble for 50 damage and Screw Knuckle for 120. Plus, you get to put an energy attached to this Pokemon back into your hand. For our next reverse hollow, we have a Pokeball. And wow, we're getting all the ultra rares tonight. Nice. I think I have every variation now of Mega Zygarde EX. Sweet. We actually pulled the SIR the other day, which was a lot of fun. I'm very happy about that one. But the art on this is actually very cool too. Oh, nice. I actually love how they outlined him in this kind of like grunge green sparkle color. It really makes him pop on the background with the purple and pink hues. It's a really pretty card. I feel like the ultra rares don't get enough love. Everyone either goes for the illustration rares, which I do love, like the full arts, because I love like the slice of life in the art. But some of these are very neat looking too. Get him nice and secure. He actually has very nice centering as well. I've never actually graded a card though, so I don't think it would really matter, but it is nice when they are perfectly centered. Alright, moving onwards. Now the one ultra rare that I really want is the Mega Starmie ultra rare, because it really shows off her super long legs, and I just think it's such a fun card. is necessary to evolve into the Tyrant, and is similar to the 𝓔𝓺𝓵, where it has HP, but it is not actually a Pokemon. We have another lovely Amora, who features the Icy Wind attack for 50 damage and puts your opponent to sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep. Following the Amora, we have a Bunnelby. They use their large ears to dig burrows. They will dig the whole night through without rest. We have another core memory tool. And another 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼𝓼. He features the Heat Breath attack that does 80 damage, and you get to flip a coin. If you get heads, it does an additional 80. Naveen supporter, who is hanging out in the basic 1 zone. I feel like she could take on harder Pokemon than that. We have the lovely 𝓔𝓺𝓻 up next. 𝓔𝓺𝓻 has 1 attack, Water Gun, for 20 damage. A classic. And our next reverse hollow is Nosepass. The Nosepass has the attack Rolling Rocks for 40 damage. And for our rare card of this pack, we have a Serperior. Serperior is the evolved form of Servine, and she has the attack Regal Command and Solar Coiling. The Solar Coiling does 100 damage, and if there's a Rosa's Encouragement supporter in your discard, it does an additional 150 damage. Let's check out this Mega Clefable pack next. Which I don't think I've actually gotten even the basic version of Mega Clefable yet. Alright. It's your next QR code of the night. And we have a metal energy up first. Silvery metal. To go with that Serperior that we just found, we have its Servine Prestage. Servine features a singular attack, Solar Cutter, for 40 damage. We have another Pokemon Catcher item card. This card, it lets you flip a coin, and if you get heads, it switches in one of your opponent's benched Pokemon to the active spot. So it's essentially a item version of boss's orders, but you have a 50% chance that it will not work. We have another lovely Ghastly. And the adorable Esper. Esper has 2 attacks, Nap and Stamp. guys, we have our second Pokepad. Surprised actually we haven't gotten more. But always good to have extra. We have the 𝓔𝓼𝓻𝓭. 𝓔𝓼𝓻𝓭 has a draining kiss attack that does 50 damage and heals 30 damage from itself. We have, actually, I believe this is our first Luxio of the night. Luxio features an ability called Fighting Roar, which reads, if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX, then this Pokemon can evolve during your first turn or the turn you played it. That's pretty nifty. We got a reverse hollow of the Rattata. This Rattata card features the takedown attack that does a decent 30 damage, but also does 10 damage to the Rattata. Although that could work in very well in pair with the Raticate's attack that does more damage based on how much damage is on your team's Rattatas. Oh yay! We got another illustration rare. We have the lovely 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭. Oh, very fun. This might be a sign that I should build a 𝓔𝓺𝓻 deck. Ooh, I love the art on this. It has a very medieval feel. You can see all the medieval armors in the foreground here, and all like the battle axes, and all these swords and rapiers on the wall behind them, with the 𝓔𝓺𝓻 kind of sitting in the middle, almost as if it's on a throne of weapons. Ooh, that's so cool. I love that. Oh, very, very fun. And for our final card slot, we have the lovely 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. The 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭 is actually a very fun deck if you can make it work, because he has the ability called 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. The way it works is if you attach any special energy to him, he gets an additional 150 HP, which brings his total from 180 up to 330, which is pretty solid for a single prize Pokemon. You then wreak havoc with his attack that does 160 damage, and you get to flip a coin until you get tails. For each heads that you flip, you get to discard the top card of your opponent's deck. It is a lot of fun, and I have beaten a couple people on live with it by milling out their deck. Let's get our 𝓔𝓺𝓻 nice and sleeved up. Oh, love this one. Go hang out in our hit zone. Tilt these a little better. Starting to get a nice array of hits up here. Well, our Meowth has officially been KO'd and does not want to balance on top of the box anymore. So we will have him peek out from behind there and open a pack in his memory. Alright, let's see what we got. Our QR code for Rosa's encouragement supporter of the night. And I also just want to say how much I love these street lamps being shaped like Pokeballs. If I ever have a house of my own, then I want to put those out front. Rosa's encouragement can only be used if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent, and you get to attach up to 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile to one of your stage 2 Pokemon. I don't know how I feel about the cards that are like this specific, but it can be handy in a clutch. Next up, we have our first Pavilion of the night. Oh, she's beautiful. I love the art on this. The illustrator is named Mingo, and I just love all these colorful flowers and sparkles and dust all around. There's even like a bubble right there. Oh, it's so pretty. I love that they even included a little out of focus fern in the foreground. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love it. Oh, I want an illustration like full art of this card. Next up is our Sparky Luxio. By gathering their tails together, they collectively generate powerful electricity from their claws. For our first reverse hollow, we have the hole digging shovel. This card lets you discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Oh, interesting. Try to think of a scenario where that would be helpful. I'm sure there are, but that is a very unique item card, to say the least. Oh, nice. We have another full art Talonflame. Very cool. I pulled one of these, as I mentioned earlier already, but I'm always happy to get duplicate full arts to add to my trade binder. Oh, nice to love this card. It's so pretty. You see the Talonflame soaring high above the rooftops in Lumia City. It's funny, in my Legend CA run, Talonflame was the only Pokemon on my final team that did not have Mega Evolution. And I feel like it should. Very fun. And we have a Gengar for our rare. Nice. Now I have the regular and the reverse. The Gengar features an ability called Infinite Shadow, which reads, if this Pokemon is knocked out by damage from an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you can put it into your hand instead of the discard. Ooh, that's fun. His attack is called Mind Jack, and it does 10 damage plus an additional 30 for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Very cool. Let's get these guys nice and sleeved up. Get our Gengar nice and safe, and our lovely new Talonflame. So pretty. Hang out in the hit zone. Running out of space up there. Actually, I feel like we haven't gotten an EX card in a while, so I get the feeling that one will be coming up soon. Let's see if they are hiding in this Mecha Zygarde pack. First up is the Hippopotas. Hippopotas actually features a classic attack, Sand Attack, that does 10 damage, and during your opponent's next turn, if the defending Pokemon tries to use an attack, they have to flip a coin. If it is tails, the attack does not happen. Oh, I love that. I like that they actually kept to how it was in the games. We have another lovely 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. It throws sharp feathers called blade quills at enemies of prey or prey. It seldom misses. Ooh. We have our first Mawile of the evening. I always find it funny that she looks so innocent and cheerful and has this like massive plant jaw on her head with like carnivorous teeth. It's so funny to me. Another lovely Rattata awaits us. And we have another Hippowdon. Lumiose Galette. Shaman. For our first reverse holo of this pack, we have an Energy Search. The Energy Search lets you search your deck for a basic energy card of any type and add it to your hand. Always handy. For our next reverse holo, we have our 5th Drapion of the night. And we have a Luxray for our rare. The Luxray features 2 attacks, Incessant Onslaught and Strong Volt. The Incessant Onslaught does 70 damage for each prize card that you have taken. Ooh, that could be a fun endgame kicker. Strong Volt does 200 damage, but you have to discard 2 energy from the Luxray. It looks like we have about 15, I want to say, packs remaining. And the packs might get a little bit faster going through now that we have seen the majority of the cards. So definitely let me know if you guys like me opening packs this way, where we just do it all in one take, or if you'd rather me split this into like 2 videos of 18 packs each that are each around like an hour and a half long. Alright. Here's another QR code for you. And to go with our Luxray that we just got, we have another Electric Lightning energy. First up is another lovely 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭. The 𝓒𝓪𝓻 features 2 attacks, Leavage for 20 damage and Feather Shot, where you have to discard all energy from him, and the attack does 90 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't know if that's really worth discarding 3 energy though, unless you had like Indignation energy or something. We have a cute little Buttlebee with a Smash Kick attack for 10 damage. We got another Crushing Hammer item card. The Crushing Hammer is another coin flip item always slightly nervous to use the scissors on the packs, because on the off chance that I would cut a card. There was one time where I did accidentally cut the card while I was opening it, but fortunately it was just the energy that got damaged. So, softened it up first in a fletchling. Have you guys gotten your pre-release slots yet for the next set? It should be starting to happen next week, I want to say. This hunter actually has an attack I haven't gone over. It has the haunt attack, where it lets you put 3 damage counters on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's pretty nifty, especially because it only costs 1 dark energy. But I have signed up for 3 game stores, which is nice because all 3 of them, well, they don't actually take pre-reservations. You just show up on the day of. So they're in my calendar to get there a little bit early to make sure I have enough time to register before they sell out. But if you have not done any pre-release events, they are so much fun to do. The way it works is you get a pre-made deck of 40 cards, and also includes 4 packs of the Pokemon cards, and you get to open each of those 4 packs and swap in any cards that you want into the deck while keeping it at 40 total. And so it's nice because it kind of makes it a even playing field for everyone. For the most part, there's always 1 or 2 people who manage to pull one of the Mega or EX cards that work perfectly with their deck. And so when you do the little tournament afterwards, they tend to be the ones who win. But it is a great way to meet people, and one of the best ways to get cards at a reasonable price, since most game stores will give you 3 prize packs as well at the end of the night for playing there. So in total, you're usually getting about 7 packs for, I want to say it's $35, which is pretty cool. And some stores also will give extra bonus packs for the people who win first place, which is pretty nice. It's also just so much fun to meet all the new players and other people in your community that are as into the game as well. It's also nice just because it's a lot more casual than playing game nights, which I do as well, but they can definitely be a little bit more intense because players are usually a lot better at playing. And if you are new to the actual card game, then it is a little bit more difficult. But either way, I always have fun. And pow. The next set coming out is called Chaos Rising, and it is based around Mega Greninja for the art. So, it's going to be another set, unfortunately, that's going to be pretty hard to find. I was lucky enough to get my pre-orders in on Pokemon Center thanks to the Discord group that I'm in, which if you guys want to know what that is, I can comment below and I'll give you the link to it. It's been a really good group. It's nice because it's free and they've been really on top of whenever there's He is the evolved form of the 𝓔𝓺𝓾𝓲𝓵 that we keep seeing. Oh, that's fun. I love how they have him almost look like he's like about to slap us. Whoop. The 𝓔𝓺𝓻 EX features a nasty blot attack that lets you search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Its second attack is called Dire Nails for 100 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now burned and poisoned. Then you switch the 𝓔𝓺𝓻 with one of your benched Pokemon. Ooh, very fun. EX for the night. As I was saying, I'm super excited about the Pokemon vending machine that just got put into our local pavilions. Unfortunately, it has been sold out the couple times I've managed to go check, but we go there multiple times a week, specifically because my toddler is obsessed with berries and bananas, so we are always running out and having to go to the grocery store again. We call it the berry tax, which is nice because it gives me plenty of opportunity to check the vending machine. Have any of you had any good luck finding any cards from the machines? I know that they're supposed to periodically drop or release some of the product that they have in there. I want to say it's like every half hour or something, to hopefully prevent people from just hanging out by the machine all day. But I have heard that a lot of them have issues where people are just like following the truck around that is restocking them, or they have friends that work at the store that give them an alert, and they just all manage to get there before you can find it yourself. That's fun. We got a back-to-back Spritzy and Aromatisier for Reverse Hollow. And oh, nice. Mega Starmie, yay! I was looking for you, Starmie. I need, I want to say 2 more for my deck. So I'm very happy that I managed to find one regular one. Because I do not want to use my full art in my deck, as fun as that would be. Oh, I love it. Mega Starmie is so fun because it has an attack called Jetting Blow that does 120 damage. And it also does 50 damage to any one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. It also features the Nebula Beam attack for 210 damage. And in combination with the Mega Frostlass that I found in my Ascended Heroes poster collection the other night, or the other week, it's a really fun combination deck. I highly recommend trying it out, and I do plan on filming a TCG Live ASMR of that deck because I've been really enjoying it a lot. Alright, let's continue onwards releasing as frequently as I have in the past. I'm hoping to get back on a weekly schedule again. Pokebad. The role plays have been a ton of fun, but they are definitely a lot more work than the card opening videos like this. But I definitely think they are worth it, and I hope you guys have been enjoying them. We have a Lapras EX. Very nice. Actually, I think this is my third Lapras that I've pulled. I pulled one the other day just out of a single that I bought at Barnes & Noble. The Lapras EX features an interesting attack called Hydro Turn that reads, this attack does 30 damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon. Then switch this Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. I haven't actually seen anyone play this set either, so that might be kind of a fun deck to figure out. Very nice and sleeved up. And onwards to a Meowth pack. As I was mentioning, the role plays, if you haven't had a chance to check them out yet, I started a little ASMR roleplay series called Journey Red that will follow all the main locations and events in the original Red, Blue, and Yellow games. It's really an homage to my childhood, and I just really want to bring out the emotions that I have when I think back on playing those games, and just all the memories I have of all those areas, and kind of bring them to life as if we were actually living in the Pokemon world. So it's been a lot of fun. The first episode, I gave myself way too much work with the VFX. I actually attempted to do the green screening and ended up with about 35 shots, which took me way longer than I intended. I think it turned out fairly well though still, and I tried a different technique in the second episode that I just released, which takes place in the Viridian Forest. It was a cool technique where you actually make the backgrounds first and then display it on the television while you're filming. So I actually did no green screening in that second video. And that definitely saved me a lot of time in post and allowed me to focus a little bit more on the other VFX shots, which is nice. I think my favorite of the VFX that I did for that was actually the Pokedex. When I tapped on my little, it's not a Lego, it was a Mega Bloks Pokedex that I had put together a while back. And I wanted to add actual interactions and screens to it, so I thought that turned out really well. And I also have a lot of fun animating all the 3D Pokemon. I found a person who actually has modeled over like 450 Pokemon that they upload hints. We didn't have internet or anything. So without that, then there was no information about what Pokemon you could catch where and what the chances were, and all the things you could do in each town. I do vaguely remember that there was a guidebook that came out at one point that I think I did buy and was following along with, but I want to say that was after Yellow had come out. I wish I had saved some of that stuff from when I was a kid. I actually had one of the original Pokedex toys, which was actually really, really cool for the time. I think I was in like 3rd or 4th grade, and it was like a fully functioning Pokedex. It had the data on all the original 151 Pokemon in it, and you could go through it, and it would show the information on the screen and play little blurbs for you. So of course I was running around on the playground as a kid, pretending to catch Pokemon in the bushes and on the playground. So I'm kind of bummed that I don't have that anymore. And I feel like I'm definitely aging myself a little bit by mentioning that, but that's okay. I think I've gotten a lot of Barbaricles tonight. I think if I attempt to do this again for the entire booster box in one sitting, it makes sense to maybe do it with a set that has more than 90 cards in it. Reverse 𝓒𝓪𝓻𝓭, nice. And more energy. I think we've been getting a decent amount of the special energies. Seems pretty evenly distributed. I think we have about 5 packs to go through. So, thank you so much if you've actually made it this far into the video. Let me know how you feel about this style of ending, for when the cards start getting a little too repetitive. I think it might make more sense to have split this into 2 videos of 18 packs each, I believe, if my math is correct. Yes, 36 packs is a lot more than it seems like initially. Have any of you actually tried out the 𝓔𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼 deck yet? Be an interesting one. I feel like there's so many decks that I want to try out and just don't have enough time. There's so many interesting Pokemon I feel like that are like not in the meta, and because of that they just don't really get to see that much playthrough. Like for instance this Pavilion, it has the 𝓔𝓬𝓬𝓮 ability, which makes your opponent shuffle their hand and put it on the bottom of their deck and then redraw 4 cards. That's actually really interesting. I feel like it'd be fun to try to make some decks around the Pokemon that you just like never really see that much play. I just lost some on the floor. And another Superior. I feel like we should be able to get maybe 2 more good hits in the night with the 4 or 5 packs that we have left. I feel like I definitely need to take a couple of days as well to just reorganize all of my cards. It's been a little bit since I've done that. I have 2 giant bulk boxes for nicer binders with like the side loading and that like zip up are a little bit nicer to organize. But there have been so many sets that have come out that I've been going back to the I want to say it's 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 that makes the ones that you can actually buy in like Best Buy and stuff, that they do the art for each of the sets. Unfortunately, they are all top loading, which is a little sad. I wish they at least had them as side loading. And I've noticed that some of them don't even have enough space to hold the entire set. For instance, with Destined Rivals, I actually had to buy a second one just to fit all the cards in it. So I feel like it's something that I wish Pokemon Center actually made binders. That's interesting. I don't think I've ever had that where a card is backwards. What? Huh. That is, that's a new one. Is there anything off with these other last cards? The 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭, the 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭, and the Aurorus. Huh. Wow, I don't think I have ever seen that. But I know that Pokemon has been having a lot of printing and distribution issues over the past year. So that's pretty funny. Have you guys ever come across that in a pack? Or one of the cards is backwards? I mean, normally I would say that that was a like a repackaged type thing where a scalper had bought the empty packs and resealed it. But I got this booster box straight from Pokemon Center. So must have just been a manufacturing issue. Glad it wasn't on the last lot. That did happen to me one time where I was missing the last lot card. And a part of me is kind of wondering if you watched my Ascended Heroes poster collection that I filmed for last week. The ultra rare card that I pulled twice of the same card, almost back to back, which was, I feel like the odds of that happening are super rare. So I almost wonder if like it was supposed to be a god pack and it got swapped out or something, because I have been reading that they've been having some issues with people who are actually working on the manufacturing lines, actually stealing the cards straight from the line and swapping in other things. I forget which card it was that has already been on sale at card shows, at one of the card shows that's right near where they print the cards, and the set hadn't even released yet, so that's a little sus. I always wonder if that is what happened with Prismatic Evolutions, because I feel like that set was so painful to open. I want to say I've opened probably about 50 or 60 packs of Prismatic, and I have not hit a single illustration rare of any Pokemon. I've gotten like 3 full arts of the trainers, and I want to say like 1 item full art. But be nice to have gotten at least 1 evolution. So I hope you guys had a little bit of a better luck with that set. It was definitely like exciting because of the chance of the god packs, but I do agree that the name Dramatic Evolutions is very fitting. One of my friends actually had collected frustrated with it that he just like sold his entire collection and used that money on the next set. Reverse jaw fossil. Shinx. And oh, we have. Hey, there's a Mega Clefable. Nice. I feel like I've gotten like one of each EX Pokemon. That's pretty cool. The Mega Clefable has the ability Luminous Wing, which prevents all effects of your opponent's Pokemon's abilities done to the Mega Clefable. And its attack is called Shooting Moons, which does 120 damage, and you have to discard up to 4 energy cards from your hand for the attack to do 40 more damage for each card you discard in that way. Interesting, so you can do up to an additional 120 then, for 240 total. That is pretty cool, but I also feel like there's a lot more powerful mega cards out there, so I don't know if that's really worth the 3 prizes risk of playing the Mega Clefable. She is adorable, however. We are down to our penultimate pack. That mixed up a little bit. This pack featuring the Mega Clefable. I feel like we are due one more illustration rare. Let's see what we got. Second to last QR code of the night. And Water Energy, Pinnacle, Dartrix, Bunnelby, Crushing Hammer, 𝓔𝓺𝓻𝓭 𝓐𝓬𝓬𝓮𝓼, Diggersby, Pokemon Catcher Reverse. Hey, there's that illustration rare. Nice. Oh, this is a fun one. We have the illustration rare of Drapion. Oh, it's actually a very interesting art style. I like it. The illustrator is Kawayu. I love how, like, it almost looks like it was done, trying to think of it's like a pastel type, colored pencil-ish, sketchy style. And it looks hand-drawn, which is really cool. Oh, that's so fun. I like the little details also of like the poison kind of splashing up from its tail and claws right there. Beautiful. And another Superior. Our last card. Lovely Drapion. Well, friends, we are down to the final pack of the booster box. I would love to get the golden Zygarde, so let's give it some good tabbies. Staryu, Naveen, Volcanion, Core Memory, a Dugong Reverse Hollow, Pavilion Reverse Hollow, and oh, we have a full art Naveen to end the night. Nice. Oh, that's a fun one. I love the angle that they did and the kind of pastel blue coloring they did for the background. It's a very nice contrast. Very cool. What a great way to end the night. We ended up with 3 grass energy, 4 fighting, and 2 telepathic. So, decent amount of special energies. Got 4 new EX cards. 4 various mega cards. 1 full art supporter. 3 ultra rare. I really loved all 3 of these. These are all really fun, actually. Sometimes the ultra rares are hit or miss for me, but these 2 especially just are so interesting in how they're contrasty. And 4 new full art illustration Pokemon. Yay! I think out of the 4 that I got tonight, the 𝓔𝓵𝓻𝓭 actually might be my favorite. This art is just so stunning on this. But thank you guys so much, especially if you made it all the way through to the end. I am sure this is going